To everyone, a topic which is called Hive. And so Hive is another very important component of big data and especially Hadoop architecture. And in this topic, we will discuss various topics like what is basically Hive, what are the various features of Hive, then the architecture of Hive, then its working, how the working is done in case of this particular component, the various data types which Hive supports, the various file formats which Hive supports, and then there is a query language which is called Hive query language. Right? So this is Hive query language that we will discuss. Then the concept of serialization and deserialization. This is another topic which is there in case of Hive that we will discuss. And then we will see what are the how we can define our own functions, which are called user-defined function in case of Hive. Right. So nothing to worry about this particular component of Hadoop because it follows SQL-like syntax. So it follows this SQL-like syntax. So if you have basic knowledge of SQL, the CRUD operations and the various statements, the commands which work in SQL, then it would be very easy for you to understand this HQL or the Hive basically. Right. So this is the major feature of this Hive also, that a person or a user who is familiar with SQL, he can easily work in Hive. Right. So before going into the details of what is Hive, let us discuss where Hive sits in the architecture of Hadoop. Right? So this slide basically gives you some information about what is the place of Hive in Hadoop architecture or Hadoop cluster. Right? But before going into the details of this particular component, I would like to add here that let's say we have an organization called XYZ, right? And this organization generates huge amounts of data daily because it has many branches all over the world, right? So approximately it generates, let's say, 1 TB of data daily, and that data is also not structured, right? So that is a semi-structured or unstructured kind of a data, right? Or you can say unstructured, or you have log files, the data which is generated by all these branches of this company XYZ in counting towards 1 TB of size. All the data is generated in the form of a log file. Right? So it's a very, very huge amount of data which is being generated on a daily basis. Now, how to handle this data? Because data is semi-structured or in the form of a log file which does not follow any schema. Right? So it means the traditional databases where we require structured data, we cannot basically use those traditional databases. So the solution is we will move to the HDFS or the Hadoop architecture where we can create a cluster and then distribute data, fine, so that the processing can be done. Okay, but for that we need to first have a Hadoop cluster, and then we have to work on MapReduce architecture or coding, where we have to write code, Java code or a complex Java code, which basically does all the processing. Right? So that means for writing those MapReduce codes, so that we can process this 1 TB of data which is being generated on a daily basis, we have to write programs, and these programs are not very simple. Right? They are very complex programs. So that means a person or the user should have a knowledge of Java, good Java programming, so that he could write code in the form of a MapReduce, where he can, the purpose here is to process this large amount of data. Fine. Now, Hive come as a rescuer in this case. Right? So it takes simple SQL queries from the user, and it automatically converts that SQL queries into MapReduce jobs. So we don't have to explicitly write MapReduce code, and we don't have to be an expert of Java programming for writing these MapReduce codes. It is done by this component called Hive. right? So as a user, you are only submitting the queries in the form of SQL statements, right? Because the architecture or the structure of HQL, which is the query language which is used for writing queries, is very similar to SQL, or it is basically SQL, right? So it user only submits those query to this component. Now this component converts those query into MapReduce jobs and then distribute it the Hadoop cluster. And it also have stores the data in the form of a metadata. Right? So what are these components? I will discuss later on in my presentation. Right? So this is a very important component with respect to processing a large amount of data. Right? So this you should keep in mind, that what is the role of this Hive component in the architecture. Now the Hive component comes as a rescuer in which plays a role of converting simple SQL queries, which is submitted by the user, right, into MapReduce jobs without the knowledge of this particular user, right? And the other thing is, this Hive basically it supports it overlap processing only. Sorry, yes, fine. So it does not work on a online transactions. Right? So it is not designed to support OLTP but OLAP, online analytical processing, where we have huge amount of data with us and we would like to process the data. So it is act as a data warehouse also. Right. So what are the components which, of this particular architecture? Because here I have shown only single component here in the, that is the icon of this Hive architecture. But there are number of components which are there, which does this job of converting the queries into the MapReduce jobs and then processing in the Hadoop cluster. Right. So second thing, which is also very important for you to know, is that for running Hive, you need to have Hadoop installed on your machines. Right. So what I have done in my case, I have created a virtual machine. In that virtual machine, I have installed Ubuntu. In the Ubuntu, I have installed Hadoop cluster, and on the top of this, I have installed Hive. And so Hive, it works on top of Hadoop. So this is the Hadoop cluster. So this particular component, it works on the top of Hadoop architecture, right, or the Hadoop cluster. So this is the sequence of softwares that you need to install for working with Hive. First, either you can have your own machine and then you can install Ubuntu also. But if you have a Windows machine, you can install a virtual machine, or virtual machine software, create a VM, Ubuntu VM. So you require virtual machine software. On that virtual machine software, you create one Ubuntu machine, the Linux-based machine, and then you install Hadoop on that machine. On the top of it, you install Hive on that particular virtual machine, so that you can send SQL queries to this Hadoop cluster for processing. Right? So this is the sequence you have to follow while working with the Hive component. Right? So what is Hive? Right? So Hive is a data warehouse software. It is not database management system. Right? So it is not RDBMS. It is the data warehouse system which facilitates in reading, writing, and managing large data sets residing on a distributed storage using SQL. Now, the distributed storage here means Hadoop cluster. So this is the meaning of distributed storage here. It means the Hadoop cluster. So the data which is residing on distributed storage, this component would help you to read, write, and manage that data, which is stored in a distributed environment, right, using SQL. So if you are good in SQL, you can basically work on Hive component. So, Hive was developed by Facebook in 2007. Actually, the project was a in-house project in which they handle huge amount of data, which is in the form of log files. Right. So this project This Hive component was there just was a simple software which was used to uh, handle the log files which are being generated on a daily basis in the Facebook, right? And later on, it in the year 2001, sorry, 2008, it was taken by Apache Foundation. Right? And then they have integrated this particular component in the Hadoop architecture on the top of the Hadoop architecture, so that the data which is coming in the form of a log file, is a very huge files, can be handled very easily, and the complexities of writing map reduce tasks can be reduced. Right? So this was the purpose of this Hive, right? In the history of this Hive, that it was introduced in 2007 by Facebook as in-house project, but later on in the next year 2008, it was taken by the Apache Foundation and integrated into the Hadoop architecture. Right? So it can process structured as well as semi-structured data. Right? So because that is the basic fundamentals or foundation of your big data, that data can be in any form. So Hive can process structured as well as semi-structured data. Hive uses a language called HiveQL, that is a query language, or it automatically translates SQL-like queries into MapReduce. So this is the most important feature of Hadoop, that Hive QL, which is the Hive query language, it automatically translates this SQL query which is given by the user into MapReduce, so that the complexity of writing a complex code into map and reduce for performing map and reduce task can be removed. Right? So it basically runs on workstations, convert SQL queries into series of jobs for execution in Hadoop cluster. Right. So because it's a distributed work on a distributed environment, so we it basically runs on a different machines, and on those machines, user runs the SQL queries, and then it converts those series of job, and it is being given to the Hadoop cluster for the execution of those queries. Right? Apache Hive organizes data in the form of tables. Right? So next is, what are the features of this particular architecture or particular components? As I told you in the previous slide also, Apache Hive saves the developer time from writing complex Hadoop MapReduce jobs. Right? So it provides serialization, summarization, analysis, and query of the data, which is already there. It will not work on a online transactions, but the data which is already there in my system, my database, it can process the data. It is very fast and scalable. So you can add on more this nodes into the architecture, and you can distribute the task among the various workstation as per the requirement of the problem. So it's an extensible framework which supports different files and data formats. So there are different kinds of file formats and the data formats. Data formats I have already told you, structured, but there are different kinds of file formats that it supports. So what are those kinds of file formats? I will discuss later on in this presentation. Right? So it is very easy for the SQL developer to learn and implement Hive queries, because everything is SQL. So we don't have to learn a new query language or new syntaxes for writing queries. So everything is in the form of SQL. So a developer who is good in SQL or fair enough in SQL, who can write the crude operations, he can easily learn the Hive. Right? So it basically, again, the same point is written over here. So it reduces the complexity of MapReduce by providing an interface where the user can submit SQL queries. Right? So it supports data definition language, data manipulation language, and user-defined functions. So this is these are the various support systems of Hive, wherein we can have the data definition language also, data manipulation language also, as well as the user defined function for software. So this point basically talk about the CRUD operations. So create, read, update and delete operations which are there in the SQL as well as MongoDB that we have studied, and Cassandra, in which we have also discussed these CRUD operations. So these are the various operations which this Hive or HQL supports. It provides access to the file stored directly in the Apache itself, right? So which is the files which are there on the Hadoop cluster or HDFS, or in other data storage systems such as Apache Sbase. So it provides access to all kinds of files which are stored either in the HDFS architecture or Apache HBase, because HBase is also one of the data storage systems. So it can work, Hive can work with HDFS as well as the HBase also. It is easy to code and learn, as I have discussed in the previous slide, that if you are good enough, fair enough in SQL, you can easily code and learn this Hive. So it also supports wide variety of data types. So there are a number of data types that it supports. I will discuss all those data types here in this lecture if time permits. Then, but the major feature of this is there is a support for wide variety of data types in case of Hive. And so these are some of the features of this particular component of the Hadoop architecture. All right, so now we move to the architecture of this particular component. The component which I have shown you with a single icon comprises of these number of components, right? So each component plays a very important role in the Hive architecture, right? So don't get confused right now, because I will take uh, part by part this particular architecture and try to explain you the various components of this particular architecture, right? If you see, the number one component of this is Hive clients. So just look at these components. Later on, I will go into the details of all those components. So this is the first component, which is the Hive clients, right? Then second component is Hive services, right? This is the second component of this particular architecture. And the third is this drivers. There are a number of drivers which are there in case of Hive that I will discuss one by one in the next slides. Then Hive storage and compute is another component, and this Hive metadata store. This is also one of the very important component of this architecture. So broadly, if I say, this architecture comprises of 5 components. Number 1, Hive client. Number 2, Hive drivers. Number 3, Hive services. Number 4, Hive storage. And number 5, metadata. Right? So these are the major 5 components of this particular architecture. And then we have a Hadoop cluster. So it interacts with the Hadoop cluster. Right. So there is a working of this Hive also. I will show you that in the presentation later on. Right. So let's move to each and every component one by one. Right. Now, the first these are the various components I have written over here. So just change the sequence so that we can go by the sequence of this. The first is Hive client. The second is Hive. So Hive client, then Hive services. There are different kinds of services: CLI, UI, thrift servers are there. So what are thrift servers? I will discuss when I will discuss this particular component. Then Hive drivers are there: compiler, optimizer, and executor. So this particular component is further having 3 sub components: compiler, optimizer, and executor. Then Hive storage and computing is the meaning of this. What is the purpose of this component? I will discuss later on. Then the metastore. Metastore is very important component of this architecture, because whatever the queries which are being submitted by the user to this particular component, it is taken care by the metastore also, right? And it plays very crucial. So one by one, we will take up all these components and discuss what are the various sub-components and the functionalities of each and every component. First is Hive client. So Hive provides basically different drivers for communication with the different types of application. Right? So it provides different drivers for communication with different types of applications. Right? Like we have a JDBC component. Okay? Here Java, Hive allows the Java application to it using the JDBC driver. We have ODBC client. Right? So the application which are based on ODBC protocol, ODBC driver allows those protocols to connect to the Hive. Right? Then we have Thrift kind of clients, where Thrift is basically a protocol for applications which were developed in a different programming languages to communicate. Right? So Thrift server sits in a Hive services layer, and this is the one which receives the requests or Hive queries from the Thrift client. Right? So basically, Hive client, there are three kinds of clients. One is JDBC clients. Second is ODBC clients. And third is Thrift clients. Right? So for working with JDBC based application or the Java based application, so that it can connect to the Hive, there is a JDBC driver which Hive provides. So these are the components which Hive provides. So there is a JDBC driver which would help the Java applications to connect to Hive. So helps the Java applications to connect to Hive. Okay, so this is the component I'm discussing here. So we have a JDBC based application or Java application. Right? Now this application connects with the Hive by using the Hive JDBC driver. So this is one. The second is ODBC client. If the requests are coming from ODBC client, then there is a ODBC driver which Hive provides. Now this allows the applications ODBC protocol based application to connect to Hive. Right? So this JDBC driver of Hive, it would help the ODBC based application to connect to the Hive. Right? So there is a, here we have ODBC based application. Now these applications, they will connect to the Hive services by using this ODBC driver. Okay. And the third is Thrift clients. Right? So this this would help the other programming languages to communicate with Hive by using the Thrift server. Right? So this would help other programming languages to connect to Hive using Thrift server. Right? And your Hive server is basically based on the Apache Thrift. Fine, so that it can serve the request from the Thrift client. Right? So this particular Hive, it is based on the Apache Thrift. So here we have Thrift based applications, then we have Thrift client, right? So this client will interact with this Hive server because this is based on Apache Thrift. So that's why it can directly, there is no need of any driver over here. So because Apache server is based on the Apache Thrift, so it can handle the requests which are coming from the Hive Thrift clients. And so these are the various clients which are there in case of first component of this Hive, which is the basically interface or the communication channel to the Hive services, right? Either Java-based application or DBC-based application or any other programming language application which would like to connect to the Hive server so that they can run their queries. For that, we have different subcomponents in the Hive architecture, right?